here today. The moon is in Leo, so we have this mood of the day that focuses on self-expression and creativity and moving things outward that we have been processing inwardly. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro vibe for Monday, January 5th. We are in the Sagittarius moon cycle that began before 2025 ended. And so we are fulfilling that moon cycle and that theme of Sagittarius energy, which is really about how we integrate meaning, how we synthesize the information we have been absorbing from various experiences and put that into a story or some form that we can sort of sum up, right? So, how do we sum up the experiences we've been through? Understand and get that bigger sense of the picture of what is going on. And so, as we have new events unfolding in the world, you can see the way a lot of that fits into existing stories, existing patterns, and what is unfolding or what is showing up in the collective, in the news headlines, as well as in your own personal life. Whatever is showing up is part of that bigger unfolding story. So if we can see it in that context, it will help us have understanding of that this is really sort of in many ways just a new development of the same energies we've been dealing with. And it could very well be that our way of responding is enough, right? Maybe what you've been doing all along is enough. And this has to play out, and the energies that are unfolding or showing up in our lives is part of that bigger picture and part of what it looks like as change unfolds. So, thinking about that for ourselves and our self care and asking ourselves, what is our response, right? So, how do we need to express? How do we need to show up, to share, to tell our version of things, to tell our story with this Sagittarius moon theme? And so, how we tell that story matters, especially when we can shift any negative versions of the story to tell a positive version of the story and a story of hope, a story of possibility, a story of expansion, a story of discovery. And so, even though hard things happen, those things are unfolding in the context of a bigger process of change. And I'm not, I'm not the expert on all of the specifics of what is unfolding, and I certainly am not going to attempt to even talk about that. But just thinking in terms of the energy and the bigger picture energy patterns that we are in the midst of, and the moon, which is the mood of the day, and today's Leo moon brings that theme of self care. And so, what kind of self care will be most supportive? It will be most supportive if we consider, where do I need to say something? Where do I need to speak up? Where do I need to be seen, to be heard, to express myself, to move into creative possibility? So Leo energy, Leo moon mood, it has to do with creativity, and it's a great time to do art or to tell a story or to express yourself to someone else. But in the theme of this Sagittarius moon cycle, we can think about, what is that bigger picture? What is the bigger picture of meaning? And how does expressing ourselves help us to participate actively in that story? So we are not watching a movie that has a predetermined outcome. If you're sitting in that movie theater, there's no, it's already written. The story is done. Or if you're reading that book and you're turning the pages, the story is already written. It's already done. It's just you sitting there to see what happens. But that is not what is happening in our lives. In our lives, that story is still being written, and your participation matters. And so I'm not saying there's one way to participate, or there's one way or one thing you should be doing. That's certainly not how I see it. I see it as you have to ask yourself what that looks like for you, and what feels true, and what feels right, and what feels meaningful, and what you need to say, or where you need to be seen and heard to feel like you are participating. And I would encourage you also to recognize that little things matter. And I talk about that a lot, right? little acts of kindness, little acts of caring, little things that you might do in your community that may feel sort of tiny in the big picture, but it all adds up. Because when you're doing something positive, that's a small step. Somebody else is doing that same thing, and we together become unstoppable force. So depending on what you see as the values, right? The things that give you hope, the things that bring meaning and feel important to you in that bigger picture, how are you participating in telling that story? And with the Leo moon, where do you need to be seen and heard in your truth? What do you need to express? So it could be very personal. It could be like, working on an art project that's very personal, and maybe you're not ready to share it, but maybe through doing that activity, you're working through some of your feelings and helping you to get clear about what's true and right for you, or helping you to understand what that process is by which by which you can share your truth with someone or the world around you. So maybe it's the process that's helping you get there, or maybe it's literally being seen and heard. But either way, that's the Leo moon self-care vibe for today. It's expression and creativity, as we have with every Leo moon, but also really thinking about that in the context of the bigger picture of meaning and truth, and what helps us understand, and what gives us hope, and what we want to believe in, and what we can choose to believe in. That bigger Sagittarius perspective that says, what is the star that you are hitching your wagon to? And you have to connect with that star to stay on track, to make sure you're on track, to be on the way to that star and be shining that star's light in your life and in the world around you. So hopefully that's helpful. I'm Marina Orms, and you can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. You can support my work, which is greatly appreciated, and I have more exciting things to come. Check it out. Transformationalastrology.com is my member site. So I've got some offers there right now. There is an offer for a 2026 highlights mini reading, and you get $10 off if you're a paid member at transformationalastrology.com. More to come. Thanks for being here, and thanks for subscribing to this YouTube channel. I'll see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.